All right, let's dive in. Today, we're looking at a brand new chapter in the space race, but this one's a little different. It has one phase that's very public and another that's been kept top secret.
So, not long ago, China pulled back the curtain on a brand new spacecraft. It's called Haolong, which has the pretty awesome translation of Sky Dragon, and it's meant to be a real workhorse for their ambitions in orbit.
But here's the thing. This big public reveal, it might just be one side of a much more fascinating and highly classified story that's been playing out behind the scenes for more than a decade.
Okay, so let's get into it. First, we need to understand what this Sky Dragon is actually all about, at least according to the official version of the story.
Officially, Haolong is basically a low-cost, reusable delivery truck for space. Its main job is to shuttle supplies and experiments back and forth to China's Tiangong space station. Yeah, you can kind of think of it as a next-level courier service for orbit. So how exactly does a vehicle like this change the game for China's space program? Well, it really all boils down to one incredibly important word: reusability.
You see, this is a huge shift in their strategy. Right now, their cargo ships, the Tianju, are totally disposable. They fly up, drop off supplies, and then just burn up in the atmosphere. Haolong, though, is designed to come home, land on a runway just like a plane, and get ready to fly again. And that could slash the long-term cost of operating in space.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. The chief designer, Fang Yanpeng, basically says it's a true hybrid vehicle. It takes off like a rocket, but comes home like an airplane, giving them the best of both worlds.
And its mission is this really slick, repeatable cycle. It launches vertically, docks all by itself, the taikonauts do their cargo swap, and then it glides back to Earth for a landing. It's all about creating a reliable and repeatable supply chain to low Earth orbit.
But Haolong isn't just about one spaceship. It's actually a key piece of a much larger national strategy for space. You could even call it a catalyst.
You know, what China's doing here might sound a little familiar. They're basically running the same play NASA did with companies like SpaceX. They're using the needs of their government space station to light a fire under a whole new commercial space industry.
And the potential economic payoff here is just enormous. This whole initiative is expected to fuel a commercial space market in China worth over 2 trillion yuan. To put that into perspective for you, that's about 320 billion US dollars. That is a massive new economic engine. So the end game here is pretty crystal clear. It's all about making getting to space cheaper and way more flexible. But it's also about building a whole new commercial industry that can sustain itself and drive innovation for years and years to come.
Okay, so that's the story they want us to hear. But while all of this commercial stuff is happening out in the open, there's another story, a parallel story, that's been unfolding almost completely in secret.
To really get what's going on, you have to rewind the clock a bit. Because the tech behind this new space plane, well, it didn't just appear out of thin air. It has a much older and much more mysterious ancestor.
This all traces back to a project called Shenlong, which means divine dragon. We first saw it way back in 2007. After a couple of tests, poof, it just vanished from the public eye. Then, starting in 2020, China began launching these mysterious, reusable experimental spacecraft on missions that were totally secret and lasted for a really long time.
And I mean, just look at the jump in how long these missions were. The first flight, just 2 days. But the next 2 missions spent 276 and 272 days in orbit. That's over 9 months each just circling the Earth, with China telling the world almost nothing about what they were doing up there.
So when you put all of this evidence together, it points very strongly to one conclusion. China isn't just building one spaceplane, it looks like they're building 2 on 2 completely different tracks.
The leading theory among people who watch this stuff closely is that the original Divine Dragon project actually split in 2. One path led to the public, commercial Haolong we're seeing now, and the other path, well, that one stayed deep in the shadows on a classified military track.
And this shows you the fascinating split, right? On one side, you have Haolong, a public cargo shuttle that's a lot like the American commercial Dream Chaser, but on the other side, you have this secret military craft operated by the Chinese military that draws immediate comparisons to the U.S. Space Force's own super mysterious X-37B spaceplane.
Now, China officially states that everything they do in space is for peaceful purposes, but the intense secrecy and those super long missions have fueled all kinds of speculation. Could it be for military spying? Maybe for testing new kinds of weapons? Or what if it could be used to inspect, mess with, or even capture other satellites in orbit? The theories are pretty wild.
So what this really suggests is that China is chasing two completely different futures in space at the exact same time. One is open, it's economic, and it's built on commercial ideas. The other is closed, it's strategic, and it's driven by the military. And that leaves us with one critical question. How is this dual-track approach going to shape the new era of competition and potential conflict in orbit?